What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan could issue a sea warning for Super Typhoon Hinnamnor. The storm is expected to come closest to the island from Friday through this weekend. The country's Central Weather Bureau says it's monitoring the storm closely and hasn't ruled out the possibility of a land warning if it tracks further west. Hinnamnor is the strongest typhoon recorded in 2022. Current projections see the storm moving north along the east of Taiwan towards Japan and South Korea, where it could cause major damage if it makes landfall. Taiwan has shot down a civilian drone above the outlying islands of Jinmen, just a few kilometers from China, a day after Taiwanese soldiers fired live rounds at Chinese UAVs. Within Taiwan, criticism is mounting about the speed of the government's response to heightened Chinese military activity around the country. James Chater reports.
Buzzing above Taiwanese bases, unmanned Chinese drones are playing a growing role in Beijing's palette of pressure toward Taiwan. In response, Taiwan's defense ministry on Wednesday said they would increase monitoring and elevate air defense missile alerts to track Chinese drones.
驱离无效的时候，我们判其对我造成威胁时，我们将按照程序来实施接战的航机，并且依例来遂行自卫权反击。
But in Taiwan, politicians from the opposition Kuomintang, or KMT, say the government has been too slow to react.
结果要等到总统出来讲话，然后国防部才有作为，那这样要如何应对任何突发的状况跟危机呢？
The comments come as Taiwan's defense ministry published a report detailing heightened Chinese grey zone warfare tactics. It says Chinese drones are being used to gather intelligence on Taiwanese troop deployments and increase pressure on Taiwan's forces. Chinese aircraft incursions and drone flights have increased since US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan last month. And officials are warning that the uptick in activity could help Beijing establish broader control over the Taiwan Strait.
And the PLA then will gradually change the international waterway of Taiwan Strait from high sea for navigation freedom to inland sea of China. And after the new military normal status has been consolidated, the PLA will reject the passage of foreign naval ships through Taiwan Strait.
In that new normal, a renewed focus of Taiwanese concern on the spying eyes of Chinese drones. Klein Wang and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
A Taiwan businessman has announced he's pouring more than $30 million into training people in Taiwan to resist China. He says the civil defense training programs will show that citizens are prepared to fight against aggression and protect their freedom. Louis Watt reports.
Wearing a bulletproof vest, one of Taiwan's best-known businessmen unveiled his plan for resistance against any Chinese invasion. The founder and former chairman of semiconductor giant United Microelectronics Corporation, or UMC, is injecting an initial $32 million into training people in civil defense, including rifle shooting. He says he wants to increase Taiwan's capability to defend itself in the face of a growing military threat from China. His plans include training 3 million Taiwanese in civilian defense over 3 years, in skills such as first aid and how to prepare for war, and training 300,000 expert marksmen.
这两个计划可以加强我们的防卫力量，宣示我们全民皆兵，抵抗侵略的决心。
Taiwan has long faced the threat of invasion by its giant neighbour China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory. And public demand for civil defense training has shot up since Russia invaded Ukraine earlier this year. Cao says his plans are purely civilian, but that they'll need the support of the military, police and others. The Taiwan-born semiconductor guru says he was spurred on to invest in the country's defense after getting angry at China's rollback of freedoms in Hong Kong. He fears the Communist Party will try to foment social and political turmoil within Taiwan.
台湾无人机、半导体等科技实力，如果能够 善加整合，军民加强合作，加上美国的关键技术支援，台湾未来绝对具有单独击溃共军来犯的实力，根本无需请他国派兵来援。
At a press conference at a cafe in Taiwan's legislature, Tsao proudly held up his new Taiwan ID card. He's renounced his Singaporean citizenship to come back to Taiwan. He says that's so he can join with other Taiwanese to resist together. With a total of $100 million pledged, he's putting his money where his mouth is. Chris Ma and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Singing, acting, recitation, and acrobatics, these are just some of the elements you'll find in Beijing opera. But what goes on backstage in the run-up to a show? Our reporter Yu Jinhuang got a sneak peek behind the scenes of a new production going up this Saturday in Taipei.
With just a few minutes before the rehearsal begins, the cast and crew of Contemporary Legend Theatre are getting ready backstage. Costumes and props are laid out in order, and soon the hallway fills with actors getting into costume and practicing martial arts. Before they get into costume, the actors take to the stage to run through the blocking. Every part of the performance needs rehearsal, even the curtain call.
As you can see behind me, it takes a whole team of people to put on a great show. There are different people taking care of the props, the costumes, and even the person that helps the actors put on their headdresses. And you might think there's also a team of makeup artists, but the actors do their own makeup. They say it's a process that helps them get into character.
因为化妆其实是很安静的一件事情，然后你边化妆的时候，你就已经开始在进行角色的一个准备，要让心静下来。
Take this actor as an example. Yang Ruiyu, who is one of the only men in Taiwan trained to play Wudan, or female warrior. It takes 2 hours just to put on his makeup. He says it's taboo to speak when you're putting on the base paint, something he learned as a child in theater school. Red blush gives a glowing energy. Thin black lines make the eyes more expressive. After years of going through the process, he's very familiar with the steps, and with Hu Sanyang, the character he's portraying on stage.
我现在就是每一次都会看到不一样的扈三娘，然后再从这里面呢去琢磨我的表演，期待我能给扈三娘更多不一样的面貌。
With the final touches, the transformation is nearly complete. Yang is ready to don the costume of the proud heroine and head into battle on stage. Yang is just one of the people getting ready for the show. There are dozens of others rushing around backstage making the final preparations. It's hard to count the amount of time that's gone into this production. Countless hours of rehearsal, years of training for each actor, and centuries of tradition passed down through the ages, all leading up to this one moment, under the spotlights, before a live audience. Kamashi, Andrew Ryan, and Yu Jinhuang for TaiwanPlus.
If you'd like to see the production featured in this report, Contemporary Legend Theatre is putting up a series of Beijing opera pieces this weekend at the Taiwan Traditional Theatre Center in Taipei. Also, I want to thank you for watching today's What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of a Lebanese boy doodling his way to his own fashion line. I'm Ethan Liu. Take care, and I'll see you next time.